What's up, guys? We are back with Monday Night Football action as the Houston Texans go on the road to take on the Dallas Cowboys here in Week 11. I'm going to break down injury reports for both teams and look at the weather and find the best value out there on the side and over-under. And guys, we're going to take a look at some of my favorite player props for the night. On top of Monday Night Football, we're going to run through the whole NBA slate, so settle in. We have a great video for you tonight. Sunday did not go exactly as planned, guys. We got off to a great start, opening today 3-1. The Packers, they barely won that game, couldn't cover that 5.5 points, but we had the Vikings -6. That was a solid win. The Saints as a pick'em, that was a easy win there for the Saints. We had the Colts +4. They managed to get the W there for us. We had the 49ers -6.5. That one did not work out, and unfortunately tonight we're on the Bengals +1.5, and that thing's turning into quite a bloodbath here in the third quarter. So yeah, not looking like a banner day even after that hot start. So we're going to try and bounce back here on Monday night. If you want to win all of your Monday bets, hit that like button. It's good luck and show support for the channel and all the hard work we're putting in every single day. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our daily content. You can now also sign up for a channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. Members get exclusive early access to all NFL and college football videos and get their names up on screen just like right now. I really appreciate the support from all of you. Seeing that little badge next to your comments absolutely warms my heart. Our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. We have a team of experienced cappers over there for every major sport, currently covering NFL, college football, NBA, UFC, NHL, and NCAA basketball. This is one of the best times of the year to be in the mix with so many sports going on. Click the link in the description if you're interested in signing up, and also to join our free email list to get the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Comment below with any bets you're looking today, and we will give you our best advice on all of them. We are committed to responding to every single comment every day, so let us know anything you want to say about my videos, my picks, or anything else you see here. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into this Monday Night Football matchup between the Texans and Cowboys. Houston comes into this game, guys, fresh off of that crazy loss against the Lions last week. Yeah, they managed to lose that game despite having a crazy, their secondary came up with 5 interceptions. They didn't sack Goff at all, but they picked him off 5 times. Houston still managed to lose that game 23-26. They weren't at full strength necessarily. CJ Stroud did not have a great day. He was sacked 4 times, picked off twice. He only completed 19 of 33 passes, so far from a banner day there from CJ Stroud, a guy that's been a little bit all over the place this season, to be honest. I would say he hasn't quite lived up to the expectations that were placed on him after a transcendently good year a season ago. So we'll see if he can, kind of right the ship here in the second half of the season. Joe Mixon didn't have a great day either against the Lions, guys. Only 46 yards on his 25 carries. He did have a rushing touchdown, but that is not what we have come to expect here from Joe Mixon. He's been a monster this season when healthy, and he was healthy for that game. He's reportedly healthy for this one. I'm expecting to see him play a little bit better out there in this game than he did his last time out. Going up against the Dallas Cowboys defense and the Detroit Lions defense, kind of a different situation. The wide receiver group is going to look completely different here with Nico Collins coming back. We'll talk more about that in the injury report, but right now, guys, is not going to be having to force the ball here to guys that, weren't supposed to be anywhere near the top of the depth chart for this offense. We did see good stuff from Dalton Schultz in the game. He caught 3 of 4 targets for 66 yards there. So yeah, definitely some positives. Tank Dell, he only caught 5 of 9 targets last week, so we don't love that. Overall, guys, the Houston offense hasn't quite been as good as we would have expected, but they've dealt with a lot of injuries, especially to their wide receiver core. That can really shoot you in the foot. So we'll see what they can do here against the Dallas Cowboys. In terms of their defense last week, obviously a huge day coming up with 5 turnovers. That's great, but they didn't do an amazing job of stopping the run. Only allowing 105 yards on 32 carries. Not the end of the world, but giving up, a couple passing touchdowns there. They didn't really buckle down late. They had some trouble, holding Amon-Ra St. Brown in check, which kind of everybody does. So I'm willing to cut them some slack, but not really a banner day from the Houston defense that over the course of the season, guys, hasn't been crazy good. They've been below average, giving up 22.6 points per game. So we'll see if things can turn around here a little bit. Obviously, stuff's going to look a bit different for those offense, guys, because Houston comes into this game looking very healthy on that side of the ball. Bringing back Nico Collins is a huge deal. Having him back off the IR. Tank Dell is fully healthy for this game. He's off the injury report, and having a healthy offensive line is a big deal. I expect the running game, with Mixon out there to be on point. On defense, Will Anderson Jr. will be out as part of a very banged up defensive line. There's a chance Lassiter will be out, but since he practiced on Saturday, I think we'll see him out there giving Houston at least a healthy secondary for this game. So yeah, obviously not going up against the scariest offense here as they take on the Dallas Cowboys, who pretty much are in shambles right now. They've lost their last 4 games in a row. Hasn't been against the easiest opponents, but the real news is, guys, with no quarterback out there, all of a sudden things look very, very dark. I mean, last week against the Eagles, not a lot of good things cooking there with Cooper Rush and Trey Lance. Dallas ended up losing that game 34-6, so a blowout loss. Cooper Rush completed 13 of 23 passes for one sack and 45 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Bro didn't look good out there at all. It was pretty embarrassing, to be honest. Like, the quarterback play that we saw from Dallas last week was abysmal. Trey Lance completed 4 to 6 passes, but only for 21 yards, and he was picked off once and sacked twice, and didn't do anything too crazy there. I mean, he had one 11-yard rush. Like, woo! Like, that's not going to, really convince me that all of a sudden this quarterback situation is going to be anything but horrible here for the Dallas Cowboys. So very worried about the quarterback situation. Also not feeling great about the running game, guys. I mean, yeah, Ezekiel Elliott, that was a flop, guys. I called that one. I'll say it. I definitely called it there in the preseason previews. Not a good signing. Not a guy with anything left in the tank. Rico Dowdle, I mean, I don't know, guys. He's had some decent games. He had 12 carries for 53 yards last week, but he's going to have a rough time because there's no reason for Houston to be worried about the passing game. So, yeah, very concerned here about the Dallas offensive situation. CeeDee Lamb's banged up coming into this game, so they're not even going to have good targets out there, much less good guys to try and hit those targets. So, looking very, very bleak out there for Dallas on the offensive side. On defense, they did some positive things last week against the Eagles, like have 5 sacks there against Jalen Hurts, but they struggled a bit against the run. They struggled a lot against the pass, giving up 109 yards on 5 receptions to A.J. Brown. That's not going to be a very good look either, guys. I mean, you're going to have to try and stop Nico Collins now. I don't think that's going to be a lot easier than stopping A.J. Brown. So we'll see how things go there. But the Dallas defense, guys, I mean, it's a little bit healthier than it was, I suppose. But over the course of the season, they are 31st in the NFL, giving up 28.8 points per game. Just not a good defensive team. And right now, guys, obviously the biggest problem for Dallas on that injury report is the absence there of Dak Prescott. But the issues don't stop there. CeeDee Lamb, he's questionable for this game with a back issue. He's technically likely to play. How locked in is he going to be? How committed is he going to be to running routes out there with a bad back with no real quarterback to get him the ball? I have my questions about that. And to be honest, I don't blame the guy one bit. Zach Martin was practicing on Saturday. I think he'll be playing here probably, which gives the Cowboys a relatively healthy offensive line, but I don't know how much that's going to matter. They don't have a lot of talent there at running back. On defense, both Bland and Lewis are going to be out and missing a linebacker and a starter from the secondary. Not going to be a super fun situation in this matchup, in my opinion. So definite reason for concern there for Dallas. A lot of things kind of converging all at once to make this looking like pretty much a nightmare season there for the Cowboys. Obviously, this game going to be played in a dome, so we don't have a whole lot to break down there in terms of the weather report. It's going to be a nice day there in Dallas, so yeah, no real concerns. People getting to the stadium, any sort of weird, difference. These are both Texas teams, like they're used to playing in exactly this environment. So looking at some trends for this game, guys, we've got Houston. They are 4-5-1 against the spread this season, so not an amazing against the spread team, which is kind of what you would expect, having some weird injuries, and not a fully healthy wide receiver group for the vast majority of the season. They're also 8-2 this year to the under. They've been playing some lower scoring games, so that's something we'll want to pay attention to a little bit here. Dallas is 2-7 against the spread this year. They are 5-4 this year to the over, guys. So looking at the numbers, we've got the Cowboys. They're getting 7 points playing at home. We've got an over-under of 41.5. First of all, guys, I definitely like the Texans here to get the blowout winning cover. Dallas is not going to be fully healthy in the secondary, and with Nico Collins back, I think we'll see a big game from C.J. Stroud here. And Joe Mixon, he's in a bounce-back spot after a rough game there against the Lions. Dallas, it should be in tank mode basically for the rest of the season. There's not a whole lot of positive things they can do at this point. They don't have a passing game or running game to rely on right now, and their quarterback situation is basically untenable. So yeah, very few positive things for me to say about Dallas right here. I think they're going to take a loss by at least double digits. I think it's going to get pretty ugly out there. So with that in mind, looking at this over-under of 41.5, I'm leaning just a little bit here towards the under, as I don't see Dallas getting much going here on the offensive side, and I don't think Houston's going to be, putting up 35 plus points, even if they get a dominant win here. I could see them scoring in like 28, something like that, and Dallas scoring, like 7. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking this game will be like. I could be, wrong. The over-under isn't a play that I have a ton of confidence in this game, but if you're begging me for an over-under play here, I like the under just a little bit. Now, guys, let's go ahead and jump into some player props for this game. First of all, I think CeeDee Lamb probably not going to have a great time. He's dealing with a back injury. He's got no reliable quarterback option there to get him the ball. I'm taking CeeDee Lamb here under 59.5 receiving yards. The price is minus 105, so very, very reasonable, and I think we could see him have a rough game. He had a rough game his last time out, too, and yeah, I don't think anything important is going to really change here with this quarterback situation. I mean, he caught 6 out of 10 targets for only 21 yards last week. I don't think that's going to change in a huge way here. I like him to really have a rough night out there. On the other side, guys, I think Nico Collins over 5.5 receptions in this game at plus 105 is pretty reasonable. He's going to be the clear -- 1 option out there for CJ Stroud. It is his first game back, so that could go one of two ways. Like either he's fully healthy, fully ready to go, lots of extra energy, getting lots of separation. So he's going to get a lot of targets. I would be shocked if he got less than like 9 or 10 targets. So the idea of him catching 6 of those is not too crazy to me. Sticking with the Texans here, guys, I like Joe Mixon here over 89.5 rushing yards at minus 105. It's a big bounce back spot for him after, last week not going his way against a very physical Detroit Lions team. So over 100 yards in the last 4 weeks before, last week definitely has me feeling like Mixon's in for a very good game out there tonight. On the same side here, we're looking at a kicking prop, guys. One we like to throw in there every once in a while is the over on extra points made. The, Fairbairn out there, over 2.5 extra points made. I mean, at plus 105, seems very reasonable to me. I think Houston will easily score 3 touchdowns in this game. That means I don't think he's going to miss any extra points probably. So definitely give me over 2.5. Another player prop I think has some value, guys, is Schultz here at 30 plus receiving yards at minus 115. He had 4 targets last week. He caught a 32-yard pass. They aren't scared to get the ball downfield to him a little bit. So getting 30 plus receiving yards really wouldn't take much. And yeah, if he can catch 3 out of 4 targets, again, I think there's a very reasonable chance we could see him comfortably get to 40 or so yards in this game. So definitely taking the over there makes plenty of sense to me. And last but not least, guys, Ferguson, I like him under 39.5 receiving yards. He led the team in targets last week there for Dallas, guys. Led the team in targets. Jake Ferguson did with 5 targets. He got 4 of them for 24 yards. I'm just expecting pretty terrible quarterback play from Dallas once again this week. Maybe that could improve a little bit, but it's going to have to improve a lot for, CeeDee Lamb or Ferguson to get over their yards in this game. So definitely another under there that I like for a Dallas team that I think is going to have a very, very rough time out there. So guys, that's all I've got for Monday Night Football. Let's go ahead and jump over. We're going to look at some NBA action. Hey guys, jumping in here with a quick ad break. This is a great time to sign up at stumpthespread.com. Signing up for a premium membership gets you access to our entire team of cappers covering NFL, college football, NBA, NHL, UFC, and NCAA basketball. It's been one of our most profitable sports over the years. We make things extremely easy for you with pick notifications directly to your phone and unit sizes assigned to each play so you can see where our confidence level is on every individual matchup. To test out the service before you buy, join our free email list to get the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're new. And also, if you want to experience peer-to-peer sports betting while paying almost zero juice, click the link in the description and sign up at betopenly.com. Best peer-to-peer betting site out there. Now, guys, back to the games. First on the docket, we're looking at the Chicago Bulls. They're going on the road to take on the Detroit Pistons. The Bulls come into this game, guys. They haven't been having a great season. They're sitting at 5-9 on the year. Their last time out, which was last night, guys, they took a 143-107, so a blowout, kind of humiliating loss there by the Houston Rockets. So yeah, pretty rough look there from the Bulls. They come into this game, not a lot of dudes on the injury report either, so that makes it look even worse, I'm going to be honest. We don't have super updated injury reports here. Like, going to have to keep an eye on that moving forward, but pretty much everybody, played in this game. I mean, we saw Levine out there. He had a pretty bad night. He only played 26 minutes. Most of the Bulls starters played very limited minutes. This thing got out of hand early. In the second, going into halftime, it was pretty obvious which way this one was going to go. So, yeah, not a lot of big minutes played from the Bulls, so they should be relatively healthy and relatively rested coming into this game as they go on the road to take on the Detroit Pistons, who they come into this game playing on back-to-back nights as well, guys. They played against the Washington Wizards and came away with a comfortable 124-104 win. So good stuff there from the Pistons, who are now 7-8 on the season. We saw Tobias Harris put up a plus 24 out there in terms of the plus-minus, so that's pretty crazy. He only scored 12 points, and a lot of this success was due to Jaden Ivey. He had a big game. Malik Beasley had a big game. He posted a plus 30, and it turns out, guys, also the Washington Wizards just pretty bad at basketball right now. So loving what we're seeing from Detroit on the court right now. In terms of their injury report, we see Tim Hardaway Jr. He's still banged up. We don't know if he's going to be available for this game or not. He's been dealing with that head injury. It's kind of a scary head injury. He was out for that game against the Wizards. We'll see if he makes his return already here, but I think that's kind of unlikely. And to be honest, I don't think we're too broken up about him sitting out this game. Looking at the trends for this one, Chicago, they're 6-8 against the spread. They are 9-5 to the over. Detroit, 9-5-1 against the spread, and they are 10-5 to the under. Guys, I'm leaning just a little bit here towards Detroit -3.5. I know this is a big bounce back spot for the Bulls, but I think we see the Pistons just as the significantly better team here. And I know they're playing on back-to-back nights, but they also didn't play crazy heavy minutes. Like Cade played 31, Ivy played 30, like just not that heavy of a minutes load. So I think they're going to be pretty okay here. And they played last night at Washington. It's not like it's a crazy, airplane ride to get from Washington to Detroit. In terms of that over-under of 232.5, that is a big number. Obviously, the Bulls are a big over team, but Detroit's a big under team. I'm going to be leaning a little bit more towards the under, if anything. But this over-under spot, probably not one that I'm in love with. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Philadelphia 76ers. They're going on the road to take on the Miami Heat. The 76ers come into this game fresh off of a 98-86 loss there at the Orlando Magic, and things have straight up been just a nightmare for the 76ers. They're 2-10 on the season. Like, it's looking real rough. In that loss they had against the Orlando Magic, guys, it wasn't really, wasn't the full strength 76ers. We're seeing great stuff from Jared McCain out there. That's been a very exciting development. He posted a +13 to lead the team. He looked a hell of a lot better than Paul George looked out there, posting a -11, scoring 13 points and going only 4 of 15 from the field. So he's kind of playing his way back from injury. It's been a weird situation. Joel Embiid played 33 minutes. He looked terrible once again. He was 10 of 10 from the free throw line. He had 6 turnovers, 8 rebounds, 0 of 5 from three-point range, only 5 of 15 from the field. Like, this dude is clearly way out of shape or injured. I don't know which one it is. I'm going to withhold a little bit of judgment, but he looks awful out there. So we'll see what they're able to do, in this one going up against the Heat. In terms of the injury report, obviously you're going to see Joel Embiid on there basically the entire season. He is dealing with an illness right now. He is questionable for this game. This dude is out of shape and sick. I'm not expecting anything good from him in this game, whether he plays or not, as they go on the road to take on the Miami Heat, who played last night, guys, in Indiana. They're 5-7 on the year, fresh off that 119-110 loss against the Pacers. They split that little 2-game series there at Indiana. So, yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? The Heat not having an amazing start to their season. Obviously, they've definitely got significant work to do in that loss there, that 119-110 loss. We saw, Tyler Hero continues to play really, really well. He led the team there with 28 points on 7 of 11 shooting from 3, 8 of 18 from the field. Bam had a big game. He put up 24 points and 8 rebounds. Just not enough there, guys. They're still, without Jimmy Butler. We saw Terry Rozier have a pretty bad night. In general, the Heat shot the ball really well. Duncan Robinson went 5 of 7 coming off the bench. We saw Jovic go 2 of 6 coming off the pine. They got to the line pretty well. They made 19 out of 20 free throws. It was, they just could not answer all the scoring there from the Pacers starters. Miles Turner had a huge game. He was 5 of 8 from 3. Like, the Pacers just shot the ball really, really well, and the Heat could not keep up and couldn't really keep up on the board. So we'll see what they can do here in a little bit more friendly matchup here against a very weak, Philadelphia 76ers team. Looking at the Heat's injury report, Jimmy Butler still out for this game. Jaime Jaquez Jr. listed as day-to-day. Apparently he's going to be missing some time here with that right ankle sprain. So, we don't expect him back for this game, even though he's only listed as day-to-day. And Jimmy Butler, he's been ruled out for, he's ruled out for Sunday's game. I think it's pretty unlikely we see him come back here and play on Monday. But you got to keep an eye on those injury reports in the NBA, guys. Things can change at the drop of a hat. Looking at the trends for this game, the 76ers 3-9 against the spread, 6-6 to the over/under. Miami 5-7 against the spread, and they're 7-5 to the over. We've got a total out there of 214.5. I don't know, guys. I'm not really interested in that over/under, but I am very interested in taking the Miami Heat here at -2.5. I don't think we're going to see any huge bounce back game here from Paul George. He's gotten off to a pretty rough start to his season. Doesn't seem like he's enjoying life there for the 76ers, and Embiid is playing terrible, and we don't even know if he's going to play in this game as he's dealing with an illness. So definitely giving the Miami Heat here at -2.5 or whatever the best price you can find. I think they're in an excellent spot. Moving right along here, guys, we are looking at the Washington Wizards. They're going on the road to take on the New York Knicks. The Wizards come into this game 2-10 on the year, fresh off of a 20-point loss there, playing at home against the Detroit Pistons. So, that's a bit of a tough look, guys. Didn't like very much that we saw there from Washington. It's, looking like the poverty franchise that it always is. We didn't see anything great. Kuzma and Jordan Poole got their points. They each put up 22. Like, it was fine. Just not a lot of positives, guys. Not a lot of massive upside. Sarr looked terrible. Only 4 points, 1 of 7 shooting from the field for him. They looked pretty lackadaisical there on the boards, getting destroyed 51-39. We didn't see anything great from the bench necessarily, and yeah, just pretty rough stuff out there. This is a terrible Wizards team. They come into this game healthy. I guess we got to give them that. They did play, they played last night at home and took that tough loss. So yeah, not really expecting miracles here from the Wizards as they go on the road to take on the Knicks, who also played last night, guys. The Knicks come into this game fresh off a 114-104 win there over the Nets, just barely edging them out to cost us our bet. We had Brooklyn plus 9.5. They end up losing that game by 10, so we get cucked there by the half of a point. That's pretty disappointing. A nice 2-game series there for the Knicks, though, kind of asserting dominance and, a little brother, big brother type of series. We saw very good stuff basically from every Knicks starter there. Brunson actually had a bit of a down night, but everybody else was there to step up. We saw Josh Hart shoot the ball really well. He scored 20 points. OG had 24. Cat played in that game. He was questionable, ended up playing there. So, yeah, I was a little bit surprised to see him play, to be honest. I kind of thought he would sit that one out. All of what they did was very much needed because of the bench. Not a lot of production coming there. Campaign put up 9 points, but that was basically all they got from the bench. They owned the boards in that game. It's nice to have the other team starting a guy that scores 0 points every game in Ben Simmons. So, yeah, a good night there for the Knicks, who are going to need a hell of a night to cover this giant number, guys. The Knicks are 13.5-point favorites. We've got an over-under of 231. Washington, 3-9 against the spread. They are 7-5 to the over. The Knicks are 5-7-1 against the spread. They are 7-6 to the over. Guys, this is just too big of a number. I think we have to play the Washington Wizards here as kind of a system play since it's such a big number here on the Knicks, who are playing on back-to-back nights. Like, they did play last night at home, so they're not having to travel, and Washington is having to travel. So, honestly, this is a game I'll probably stay away from. If you're forcing me to bet it, give me a little taste there of the Wizards and all those points, but I am not in the business of betting on the Washington Wizards. Next up, guys, we've got the Indiana Pacers. They are going on the road here to take on the Toronto Raptors. The Pacers are 6-7 on the year after playing last night at home and getting that 119-110 win there over the Heat. So pretty positive stuff there. We saw a big game basically from all their starters, especially Miles Turner came out and was huge in that one, scoring 34 points. A hot shooting night for the Pacers, who shot almost 45% from 3. They did a good job on the boards, owning a 7-rebound, edge there. They overcame a bad Tyrese Halliburton game. He was only 4 of 13 from the field, but did a good job dishing out assists, guys. He had 13 assists, only 0 turnovers, 2 personal fouls, 0 turnovers. He even had a couple blocks in the game. So it was a very nice night there for the Pacers, who had 30 assists in the game. So yeah, really hard to find a lot of negatives there for the Pacers in that one. Although, like I said, guys, only 6-7 on the season. They're looking relatively healthy coming into this game as well. So lots of positives there for Indiana as they go on the road to take on the Toronto Raptors, who have to be a little bit perturbed at how their last game ended, guys. RJ Barrett, an amazing performance from him, guys, and they ended up, it all comes to naught there, losing that overtime game against the Celtics with, Tatum knocking down that 3. Pretty crazy. I mean, RJ Barrett, 25 points, 10 of 27 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3. He had 15 assists and 10 rebounds in the game, so a monster triple-double, but all of it amounted to not a win there. Jakob Poeltl had a huge game, scoring 35 points himself and 12 rebounds, but yeah, just all of it wasn't quite enough, guys. The Raptors only went 9 of 23 from 3. The Celtics went 21 of 61 from deep, and yeah, despite owning the edge on the boards there, the Raptors cannot come up with the win. So we'll see what they can do in this game, guys. It's going to be a little bit rough. They're relatively healthy for this game. I wouldn't say they're fully healthy necessarily, but when you've got your heavy hitters out there and Grady Dick, it sucks they Emmanuel quickly once again sidelined, and we don't know when he's going to be back. Partial tear in your elbow, that's going to be a little bit rough. So we'll see when he comes back, but really, guys, this is a Toronto Raptors team that's tanking, but they're tanking in a pretty ethical way. We see Toronto getting 3.5 points here playing at home. We've got an over-under of 236.5. Indiana, 7-6 against the spread, 9-4 to the over. Toronto, 9-5 against the spread, and 8-6 to the over. I mean, it's not a super long flight there from Indiana to Toronto, but you got to go through customs and all that, so it's not ideal. I'm going to be leaning just a hair here towards the Pacers, -3.5, but I don't know, guys. This, once again, a weird travel spot, a weird health situation for the Raptors. What's their response going to be to losing that buzzer beater game? Hard to know, and they're going to be playing at home, and they've been such a good against the spread team. This is probably a spot that I'm staying away from. Next on the docket, guys, we have the Houston Rockets. They're going on the road here to take on the Milwaukee Bucks. The Rockets come into this game fresh off of a blowout win yesterday at Chicago, guys. They got the 143-107 win. Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. And we've seen Houston playing really well, not against the toughest, but maybe not the easiest competition either. They've won their last 5 in a row, including 2 games they won there against the Clippers. Those are both home games there for Houston, but still, got to give them credit. They put up those wins. We saw a big night there from Fred VanVleet. He seems to be out of that little slump that he was dealing with. The bench also looked very good, guys. We saw Aman Thompson look great off the bench, 16 points for him and 12 points there for Reed Shepherd. And as a team, Houston got this blowout win despite shooting only 10 of 34 from long range. They were 23 of 32 from the free throw line, so getting to the line a lot, and they dominated the boards, guys. 66 rebounds in that game against only 47 from the Bulls. So, yeah, we liked definitely what we saw there from the Houston Rockets. Sengun, a big game. Watching him run the offense is fantastic. He posted a triple-double and a plus 35 out there. So, we'll see what they can do in this game. They're healthy coming into this one as they go on the road here to take on the Milwaukee Bucks, who are now 4-9 on the season. They really got the shaft there against the Charlotte Hornets, guys. No doubt about that. They should not have lost that game 115 to 114. That call, that was a really bad call there at the end of the game. Really, really rough stuff. What are you going to do? Yeah, hindsight, I guess, is 2020, but maybe you shouldn't be playing super close games against teams like the Charlotte Hornets, although the Hornets have been a little bit better this year, so maybe I'm being too tough here on the Bucks. Giannis had 22 points, 15 rebounds, and 12 assists in the game. He's doing everything you could possibly theoretically expect from the guy, and still not able to put up wins. Bobby Portis looked great coming off the bench. The Bucks shot 41.7% from three-point range and still managed to lose the game. They only shot 11 free throws in the game, and they only made 5 of them. So there's a little bit of a culprit. But we did see Charlotte shoot 21 free throws in the game. The Bucks got destroyed on the boards, though. Kind of a trend for them this year. It's been rough out there for the Milwaukee Bucks this season. Looking at the injury report, we see that Dame and Middleton are still very likely to be out for this game. Dame, guys, I take that back. Dame is now probable for this game. He was marked as out, but when you look at it more closely, he is actually listed as probable. So he's likely to be back for this game. Middleton has been ruled out for this game. Giannis, always on the injury report. He's listed as day-to-day, but I think we expect him to play. I mean, he's also marked as probable. So going to see close to the full-strength Bucks here, and they're actually the favorites in this game. They're minus 3.5. We've got a total here of 218. Houston did play yesterday in Chicago, like I said, so they're playing on back-to-back nights, but they are 9-5 against the spread this season. They are 7-6-1 to the under. The fact that it's the Bucks here at minus 3.5 makes me think there's news that has not officially broken yet on Houston guys that are going to end up sitting this game out. So we're going to be watching this one very carefully. You have to check back on these NBA plays. You have to check back in the pinned comment to see if they're actually going to make it in permanently or if they're going to get moved, because they can get removed throughout the day if we get breaking injury news. You can't be betting these NBA games super early unless you've got some crazy insider information about whether or not these guys are going to play. So I'm leaning towards the Houston Rockets at plus 3.5, but that's only if we see the actual Houston Rockets starting lineup out there. If we don't, things could change drastically. In terms of that over under of 218, I'm leaning towards the over, but that's also only if we see, the guys out there that we want to see out there. So make sure you guys are checking that pinned comment. Moving right along here, guys, we're looking at the Orlando Magic. They're 8-6 on the season. They are going on the road here to take on the Phoenix Suns. The Magic have somehow won 5 in a row, guys, despite not having Paolo Banchero. Very, very good stuff. They got the 98-86 win over the 76ers. I know it's just the 76ers, but hey, they deserve credit, guys. It's been a pretty tough way for them to go here with all the injuries, but they are finding a way. We saw very good stuff there from Franz Wagner. He continues to put up great numbers. He knocked down 5-11 threes, which is a very encouraging sign. He scored 31 points, posted a plus 18. The bench was great again. Jonathan Isaac and Mo Wagner are looking great coming off the bench. Very, very good stuff. The Magic got a convincing 12-point win despite shooting only 11 of 37 from three-point range. They did a great job on the boards. Just across the board, guys. It was a very, very good night there for the Orlando Magic. They come into this game relatively healthy. Still no Wendell Carter Jr., still no Paolo Banchero. We'll see when those guys eventually end up back. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a bit. It's gonna be a bit, especially for Paolo in terms of Wendell Carter Jr. He's listed as doubtful for this game, so it seems like he's getting close, but he's not going to be back for this one as they go on the road to take on the Phoenix Suns, who come into this game 9-5 on the season, fresh off a 120-117 win there at Minnesota last night, and they had to travel from Minnesota to Phoenix, so they're back home. We'll see how they do with that, that travel there. Yeah, guys, I mean, in that loss at the Timberwolves, it's rough out there. There's a lot of injuries going on right now, guys. I mean, we saw Devin Booker try and do everything he could. He put up 44 points, but in a losing effort. He was 15 of 29 from the field, 6 of 13 from 3. He had 7 assists in the game. He did have 4 turnovers, but man, you can only ask so much for the guy. He posted a +4, and his team ended up losing the game by 3. So he did everything he could. The Suns lost that game despite shooting 14 of 31 from three-point range. Are they going to be able to do that again? Seems a little questionable. They did dominate the glass, so that's something positive, but they had no answers out there for Julius Randle, who hit that game winner. That was pretty crazy. We saw Anthony Edwards have a pretty good night. He only shot 7 threes. I think that's a positive development. Naz Reid was great off the bench. Dante DiVincenzo was very, very good off the bench. He was 5 of 10 from three-point range. Looks like his shot is coming around. In terms of the injury report here for the Suns, obviously we're going to have no KD for a while, and Bradley Beal is also listed as out for this game, which, I mean, that's got to be one of the worst additions to any team ever. Like, this is supposed to be a big three. Well, one of the big three is the most injury-prone dude in history, and he's, out once again. So we'll see what happens with him, but he's going to be sidelined for this Monday game, not going to be out there with that calf injury. So not the full strength Suns, obviously. We see Phoenix still -1.5 for this game. We've got an over-under of 207.5. Orlando 7-7 against the spread, 8-6 to the under. Phoenix 5-9 against the spread, and they are 9-5 to the over. With an over-under of only 207.5, I don't really know which way to go with that one. I'm going to stay away from it, but I do like the Orlando Magic here getting 1.5. They're fresh. The Suns are the opposite of fresh. They just traveled from somewhere cold to somewhere hot. That usually isn't a super fun time. I'm going to be leaning here towards the Orlando Magic getting that 1.5. Rounding into the home stretch here, guys, we're looking at the Atlanta Hawks. They're going on the road to take on the Sacramento Kings. The Hawks come into this game fresh off a 114-110 loss there at the Portland Trail Blazers, so that can't be super fun. They played at Portland. Now they're going to play at Sacramento, so no crazy travel, but playing on back-to-back nights and having to travel, not usually a super fun combination. We saw Riche have a mediocre game. He only played 21 minutes, but yeah, Jalen Johnson played, his pretty much full 37 minutes. Like, that's a full complement of minutes. Dyson Daniels put up 12 points. Trae Young was back. He put up 29 points, playing very, very well out there. Hearing a lot of Trae Young slander out there about how he needs to become a bench player and stuff like that. I don't think that is a very reasonable request to make from a guy that's put up such crazy numbers over the course of his career, but you got to do what it takes to win. If that's what his team needs to win games, maybe they should be doing it, because he had a 29-point game and they lost to the Portland Trail Blazers. So that's not a very good look, guys. We'll see what they can do here going on the road to take on the Kings. They're not going to be fully healthy. DeAndre Hunter's still out. Bogdan Bogdanovic still out. And Bufkin still out as well. So, yeah, we don't know when this team's going to be fully healthy. We don't really know what they're going to look like if they are fully healthy. So, yeah, there's a chance we see DeAndre Hunter back for this game. But I don't know, guys. I don't know yet. Not full injury reports. That's how things go in the NBA. We'll see what they can do against the Sacramento Kings, who are 8-6 on the season. They've been playing out of their minds. By they, I mostly mean De'Aaron Fox, but it took another crazy night from him to get a 121-117 win there against the Utah Jazz. So that doesn't necessarily feel great. That was an insane play where his shoe came off. He kicks it back on, just keeps on going and scores. Like, that was pretty wild stuff in that 121-117 win there that they had against the Jazz. Obviously, another big night from Fox, guys. He put up 49 points. Trey Lyles played well. Herter played well. No Sabonis in that game, so that, doesn't help them. That's one of their best players. Obviously, that's a pretty big deal. So we'll see when he's going to be, if he's going to be back for this game. But Sacramento shot the ball extremely well from 3. The problem is they just didn't play very good defense. So yeah, we'll see when that turns around, guys. Obviously, Sabonis dealing with this back issue that's kind of ongoing here. He's officially doubtful for this game against the Hawks, so it seems like a pretty long shot that we would see him play in this game. Other than him, guys, we've got DeMar DeRozan also dealing with a back injury. Whether or not he's going to play, it seems very unlikely. He's going to miss this game, guys. He's not going to be playing here on Monday, so it's not going to be the full strength Sacramento Kings. It's going to be De'Aaron Fox out there trying to do it all on his own, and guys, that is pretty scary. Like, you don't want that to go on for too long. He could, if he gets hurt, all of a sudden this season for the Kings is headed down the tube. So we'll see what happens there. Looking at the numbers for this game, we see the Kings are 4.5-point favorites. We've got an over-under of 232.5. Atlanta 5-9 against the spread, but 11-3 to the over. That's an NBA best mark to the over. And Sacramento 6-7-1 against the spread. They're 8-6 to the over. Guys, I think this is a pretty good over spot. 232.5 feels like a lot of points to me, but I do think we want to be going with the over here. Trae Young's back. De'Aaron Fox put up crazy numbers. He's going to put up even crazier numbers here against a terrible defense. Herter shooting the ball well. Murray shooting the ball well. It just seems like a good spot to side with the over here to me. And yeah, in terms of the side, I'm leaning just slightly towards the Hawks and the points, but I don't really care about that too much, guys. This is a game we're leaning towards the over. Last but not least here, guys, we've got the Golden State Warriors going on the road to take on the LA Clippers. The Warriors come into this game, guys, 10-2 on the season, fresh off of a very nice 123-118 win there over the Memphis Grizzlies. It was pretty much a blowout game the entire way there until the fourth quarter, and they really took their feet off the gas there. But yeah, yeah, it was a nice win there for Golden State. We saw very, very good stuff out there, pretty much up and down the lineup. I mean, Steph didn't have to do too much. He only played 26 minutes in the game, had 13 points. We saw Buddy Hield chip in 18 off the bench. Moses Moody played well off the bench. Podziemski played great off the bench. Like, this deep rotation, guys, is really, really looking great. Draymond even had 13 points and was 3 of 7 from three-point range. Like, he's shooting the ball with a lot of confidence. There's just a lot of positive things cooking right now for the Golden State Warriors, who come into this game relatively healthy. Obviously, seeing Curry on the injury report there doesn't feel great. He's dealing with a knee issue. He's questionable for this game. I don't think it's out of the, I think it's definitely possible he plays in this. He's dealing with knee inflammation, so we don't know whether or not he's going to play in this game. Gonna have to stay up to date there on the injury report leading up closer to game time, so we can, know whether or not Curry's going to be playing in this game. And yeah, we just have to wait and see as they go on the road to take on the Clippers, who are currently playing right now against the Utah Jazz. The Clippers have an 11-point lead with like 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, so they're very likely to come away with a win in that game, which would snap a 3-game losing streak. Haven't been seeing the most amazing stuff from the Clippers as of late, but yeah, guys, just kind of got to wait and see there. So far in their current game, we're seeing Zubac having a big game out there. Harden and Powell both playing pretty well, so yeah, I think they'll probably get the win here with some decent play from the bench. They're not going to have to travel here. They're going to be staying at home, but yeah, still playing on back-to-back nights for this team could be a little bit of a big ask. No major injury concerns on the list right now, but we'll have to wait and see what it's looking like after this game is over. The Clippers are getting 2.5 points at home. We got an over/under of 221.5. Golden State 9-3 against the spread, 9-3 to the over. The Clippers are 7-6 against the spread and 7-5-1 to the over. Guys, I like the Warriors here at -2.5, and I like it whether or not Steph Curry plays in this game. I think the Warriors have pretty much the perfect mix here to make things very, very rough on the Clippers. Zubac is a problem. I know he could be somewhat of an issue for them on the interior as they lack great size, but I think Looney can handle it a little bit. I don't know what Trace Jackson Davis will really be able to do with him, but I think the Warriors can spread the floor and make it kind of tough to keep Zubac in the game. So give me the Golden State Warriors here at -2.5. I pretty much like them whether Curry plays or not. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com, and we will see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.